Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Star Race Batman Ninja 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review video. Now today we are going to be taking a look at Batman in his modern suit. Now, if you've been following along with this review series, we've seen a couple of different versions of Batman, but they have been based off the feudal Japan designs. Before all of the characters were transported back to ancient Japan, they were seen in the modern day, hence why Star Race is releasing a modern suit version of Batman. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what this guy is based off. Now, I got mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is, of course, in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and an awesome reward system. What we are going to do now, though, is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. Here, of course, we have the box art, and seeing as though this is the modern suit version of Batman, they've done away with the classic Japanese artwork in favor of something, well, a little bit more modern. We do have some circuitry down below, a silhouetted image of Batman front and center, plus the Gotham City skyline in the background, that gorgeous fiery red Batman ninja symbol up top, and then the various model numbers down below. On the back of the box, we do have that cheeky silhouetted image, potentially teasing the rest of the characters in the line. I am hoping we do get the entire cast and crew from Batman Ninja, because they do have some very interesting character designs. I would love to see Robin, Nightwing, Deathstroke, and pretty much everyone else. Now, usually these Batman Ninja figures can stand alone because their designs are so very unique. But with this guy, he genuinely has to be a good Batman figure because he doesn't have that super stylized Japanese look to fall back on. We will discuss that more a little bit later in the video. What we are going to do now, though, is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Here we have all the parts and pieces. Now, starting off with the display base first, if you've seen any of my other Batman Ninja videos, this is probably a very familiar sight. It's quite compact, it's nice and slim, that gorgeous bright red bat logo up top, and then a regular crotch grabber. Now, if you do get the standard version, you are going to miss out on some of these accessories. I'm pretty sure you won't get the spear, you won't get the Bruce Wayne head sculpt, the smoke bombs, and the little canister, but you do still get a reasonable amount of stuff. Now, the spear itself is all made of plastic, but the blade section does have some really nice pitting and dry brushing around the edges. You also have a cartoony style wood grain print on the handle section, which makes sense because this version of Batman is based off an animated movie. You also get a printed piece of cardboard with some kanji, as well as an old school Japanese style image of a very grumpy Batman. Feel free to pause this and run it through Google Translate, and then let me know what it says down in the comments below. You also get two different head sculpts specifically with the deluxe version, the first of which being the Bruce Wayne sculpt. It is quite stylized and very different looking, but I personally really like it. The skin texture is on point, I like the expression, and because it's based off an animated movie, they don't really have to stick to an actor's likeness, so they can take some creative liberties. I also like how the fringe comes over the top, like it is a separate piece, and as you can see, that's exactly what it is. So yes, I am a fan of that head sculpt. You do also get the cowled Batman sculpt, of course. It does have this little panel that you can install on the front to hide these inner working components. Now, the reason that you can expose them is because there's an LED light up effect. It's not the best effect in the world, and in order to activate it, you actually have to use one of the batarangs with a magnet in the back. You simply touch it to the head sculpt, and now there is a blue light on the inside. The weird thing is though, the LED kind of sits up around here, so it's not directly in line with this hole that it's supposed to come out of, so it's very dim and hard to see. Now, some people have told me, Justin, why don't you turn the lights off in your lightbox so we can see it? Well, the reason I don't do that is because I don't think anyone displays their figures in the dark. I'm pretty sure you have LEDs in your cabinets, or at least lights in your rooms, so it would be showing the LED in an environment that kind of gives it an unfair advantage. Nevertheless, I personally am not a huge fan of the LED light-up effect. You do get a grappling gun though, which I am a big fan of. It's kind of big and bulky, modern yet steampunky at the same time. It's a super unique design. There is also weathering and dirt and grime down in the crevices, and the grappling hook itself is rusty and nasty. As I said, I'm a big fan of the way that looks. Now, if you do count the magnetic batarang, you do get two. They are quite weathered, and as you can see, it's a different weathering pass on either batarang. It's not just a printed image on the surface. They're chipped and pitted, and I really like the way they look. You also get some smaller accessories in the form of this canister and what I think are smoke bombs. Other than that though, you get a full array of Batman gesturing hands to be able to interact with his accessories. Some silver knuckle plating on the back, a stripe down the bottom, and the sculpt of them is relatively cartoony, just like the figure himself. What we are going to do now though is get Batman himself out here and take a closer look. Here we have him, standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And for the most part, this is a very striking and interesting design for Batman. It's quite unique, yet still very modern at the same time, which is surprising considering that the source material that this guy is based off has Batman traveling back to feudal Japan. Now, at the start of the film, he is in the modern era, so this look is still movie accurate. Now, I really like the way this guy looks. Is he the strongest figure in the lineup so far? No, I don't think he is, and we'll discuss why in just a second. But I have also seen some comments online thinking, maybe this could be your new comic book Batman in the display, replacing one of the old Sideshow ones. And yes, it could technically do that, but at the same time, this guy is massive. So if you are looking for a big, bulky, tall Batman, this will check that box. But if you aren't, and you're looking for him to scale alongside the rest of your Sideshow figures, then maybe this guy ain't it. What we are going to do now though is take him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. Here we have him, up close and personal. Now in just a second we will be popping on the Bruce Wayne head sculpt just to see what that looks like. But for now, let's talk about the masked sculpt. Now right off the bat, I know, the green eyes aren't going to be for everyone. I happen to really like it. It's something different, something unique, and very Batman Ninja specific. But if they bother you that much, you can totally just paint them a crisp white. I do like the way the bottom part of the cowl is sculpted. The skin texture and paint applications on the mouth are on point. I also like the metallic blue highlights that tie the design of the cowl in with the rest of the body. What I don't happen to like though is pretty much everything from his brow section up. They had to make the top section of the cowl absolutely massive so that they could facilitate the stupid LED light-up effect. Now, if you like the LED light-up effect, then all the power to you, but I'm not one that likes when companies sacrifice the aesthetics of a head sculpt for a gimmick, which I think is exactly what Star Race have done. Don't get me wrong, in certain poses this cowl can look very mean and menacing, but in others it can look very goofy and way out of proportion with the rest of the body. The fact that they've added on this armor plate around the back of the neck so the cape sits very high also doesn't help because it pretty much eliminates all of his neck. The prototype version didn't actually even have this armor plating, so it sat down and gave him a proper neck. I will see if I can do some modding to get this to sit down, because when it sits a little bit lower, he does look far better. Now, I do want to talk about the cape for a moment. It's a very lightweight black fabric, but there is a lot of it. That means you can bring it around the front, but because there's no wires here, it's quite hard to tame. And because the upper section of his chest armor is so big and bulky, it kind of looks like he's continuously puffing his chest out. You can of course hide most of his armor behind the cape, which is a look that could work quite well in the display, but I will definitely be popping it back over his shoulders. I would have preferred the same exact cape that they've already been using with the other Batman Ninja figures. They literally didn't have to design anything new, just reuse the existing cape. But I understand, they wanted to try something different, and for the most part, it has worked out. Now let's talk about the body. It is, from head to toe, a black armored suit for Batman, and it's a very interesting and unique design. I have seen some people online saying this is going to be their main comic book Batman in the display because they really like the armored look, and so do I. I love the blue highlights that are woven into the black armor. They are metallic. They do provide a nice pop of color on what would otherwise be a very dreary looking figure. You also have this super vibrant yellow utility belt with some pitting on the surface, so it's not brand new, crisp and pristine. You also have that same pitting on his gauntlet fins, and then everything else is pretty much perfectly clean. The undersuit is this kind of rubberized fabric. It's very hard to describe what this feels like, but I don't have any worries about it cracking or creasing over time. It feels rather sturdy and durable. Now, you do also have a lot of padding to contend with. The entire thigh section is fully padded, and we'll see what that does to articulation a little bit later on in the video. Coming down to the boots, it is a split-cut boot design, so you bet I'm happy with that. And then you do have some tread sculpted in down below. For those wondering what this guy looks like wearing the Bruce Wayne head sculpt, here we have it. Now, I really like the way this looks. It might just be the first time ever that I'm considering displaying a Batman figure with the unmasked head sculpt over the cowled one. Unlike that cowled sculpt, this head sculpt fits in proportion with the rest of the body. It's not too big, it's not too small, and that coupled with the fact that the neck armor brace piece cups around his jawline perfectly, it gives him a very mean and menacing look. It kind of gives me Arkham Knight vibes. Now, the suit itself does have one more party piece. If you flip open this back armor plate and flick the switch, you do have some LED lights in the torso. For me, this isn't the biggest deal in the world because you could already see all the blue highlights anyway, but for those of you out there who like LED lights in your figures, at least this is an option for you. I'm sure you can wire this up somehow, some way, and get it lit up permanently in the display, but for me, the light up features aren't really the reason why I decided to pick up this figure. For those wondering, yes, if you have a spare wired Star Race Batman Ninja cape, it does work with this figure. You literally pop the head sculpt off, remove the stock cape with that neck armor, and pop this one on. It actually now gives him a proper neck. It doesn't help with the oversized head sculpt, but in my opinion, this looks way better. Now, if you want to take it one step further, you could also use the Batman Ninja head sculpt from the Ninja version. Now, it does sit a little bit lower on the neck peg, and it is far smaller. but I think it fits in proportion to the body. I also just overall prefer the way this head sculpt looks. Now it does have the brown lines on the side, because in the film this is a faceplate that's held together on top of a mask. In figure format you could simply paint them if you don't want them to be there. But do let me know what you think of this combo. I am very tempted to leave him like this in the display. And vice versa, if you did want to use the Bruce Wayne head sculpt on the Batman Ninja body, this works. It is a little bit large, just like the cowled head sculpt from the modern figure, and it sits quite high on the neck peg. But other than that, I think this works quite nicely as an unmasked Bruce Wayne on the ninja body. Now for a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have the modern Batman on the left and the ninja version on the right. And as you can see, there is a significant size difference here. The modern figure is just bigger in every dimension. He's taller, he's wider, his head sculpt is far larger. And for me, that kind of throws everything off. It means that alongside the rest of the line, the modern Batman feels like he is in a different scale. I really do like the ninja figure, he was the perfect size, everything was in proportion. And now on this modern one, he looks a little bit goofy, especially with that massive, oversized head sculpt. I mean, as you can see, next to the Sideshow figure, he is dramatically taller. It could work if you are building out a Batman Hall of Armor, a pantheon of different styles of Batman figures. That could look quite good, having a variety of different heights. But for me, this guy is just far too massive. To scale alongside the Sideshow figures, maybe you wanted to have this guy as your main comic book-esque Batman in the display. I think he's just a touch too large for that. And to scale with the rest of his own line, he's going to be dramatically taller than the Batman Ninja figure, as well as the all-out War version. This is by far the largest Batman that Star Race have made, and I'm kind of sitting here wondering why. Just going over articulation. Now bear in mind this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm gonna be a little bit more careful. I'm sure when you get yours in hand, you can push the joints slightly further than I am willing to go. Now starting off with the head sculpt, it is on a double ball peg, looking forward and back, swivel and pivot side to side. The arms will go out to there. They will go forward and back, butterfly joint at the shoulder, swivel at the bicep, a double bend at the elbow that gets you slightly past 90, plus a regular 1/6 scale wrist peg. The upper torso is covered pretty much entirely in this rubbery overlay, so you don't get a ton of crunch. You do, however, get swivel and pivot side to side. The legs will go forward to there, and they really do fight you. They do go out to there, swivel at the upper thigh, a double bend at the knee, but unfortunately it only gets to 90, and of course a double ball peg down here for the ankle. Just wrapping up on the Batman Ninja modern suit version of Batman. Now going into this, I was really excited. I love the super unique and fully armored look for Batman based off the movie. But at the end of the video, I can honestly say that this for me is a bit of a mixed bag. For the most part, I like how big and bulky he is, but that means he doesn't really fit in with the rest of his own line. Plus, they made some very interesting choices, such as making the head oversized and adding that neck armor collar piece, so it kind of makes him look like he has no neck. Don't get me wrong, in the right poses this guy can look fantastic, but when you have him just standing there, he does come across a little bit goofy. At the end of the day, it's all down to personal preference. Hey, if you like the look, then all the power to you. Go out and grab him, add him to your Sideshow or your Batman Ninja display, and he'll work quite well. But for me, I am hoping that at some point we get a 2.0 of this guy, just with those things that I've moaned about dialed in a little bit better. Ditch the neck collar armor piece, make the head sculpt a little bit smaller, and potentially focus on articulation, cause this guy is a bit of a brick. He can pose, but he's also known to topple over, hence why the display base is here. I do still really like him, and I will proudly display him alongside the rest of the figures in the lineup, even though he is by far the biggest figure there. I got mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is of course in the description below. They have 12-month installment plans and an awesome reward system. While you're down there, why not check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.